Hey there, Otaku! Are you into retro gaming? Are you into modern gaming? Are you into video gaming? Go Mega Otaku Gamer Alpha has new episodes, most Sundays, right here on this channel. Check them out. Hey there, Otaku! Welcome to another episode of Go Mega Otaku Gamer Alpha. Ken Chan here, and today we're going to take a look at the Mattel Aquarius home computer. Alright, before I go into stats and things like that and start talking about some of the specs of the machine, I want you to just walk with me real quickly through a little bit of logic. Okay? We're going to look at something here. Alright, ready? This is not the machine we're talking about today, but this is an Atari 800 computer. A home computer. A home computer made by Atari, which is more powerful than this, the Atari 2600. Okay, do you follow? This is the company's home console. A gaming console, just a gaming console. This is the company's computer that was out about the same time. Actually, when this came out shortly after, it was the 5200 and the 7800 that came out from Atari. But this is more powerful than this. This, which didn't really have a game console counterpart until later. But anyway, this is more powerful than this, or this, or even this. Think you know what that is? But do you see the logic? Okay, the whole purpose during the 80s of making home computers was to make a system that was more powerful than your console. The whole point of Atari making computers was to have a programmable game system, essentially that's what they were, that was more powerful than their home console. Computers, that was their whole selling point at that time. They had more power, more memory, okay? They were able to store things on disks, you could write your own programs, that kind of thing. The Mattel Aquarius does not conform to this formula. Alright, if we look at the specs to the Intellivision, you see that it has 2048 by 8-bit graphics ROM. Programmable graphics. Okay, it has programmable graphics, on-screen graphics. The old Atari computers, the old 8-bit line, most of those have 3 different graphics modes that you can change around, change to and from, on the fly. Right in the middle of the program, you can go from graphics mode 1, 2, or 3. Actually, I think it's 1 through 3, then 4 through 6, and then 7 and 8. But there's 3 different graphic modes, okay, that you can switch to on the fly. The Mattel Aquarius has no on-screen programmable graphics. The games for the Aquarius were written in machine language, and that's why the games look like crap on the Aquarius. The Intellivision has better looking games than the Aquarius. The Aquarius was manufactured by a different company. So the Aquarius was a home computer. It was released on June of 1983. The introductory price was $160. It was cheap. All you got was the unit, but it was cheap. It was discontinued in October of 1983. The media that it operated on was cassette tapes or ROM cartridges. And of course, the cassette player you had to have separately. You couldn't just, throw a cassette tape into the thing. It didn't work that way. The operating system was Microsoft Basic. Yeah, believe it or not, Microsoft Basic. You heard right. The CPU was a Zilog Z80A at 3.5 megahertz. Now that was really the only thing that was more powerful than the Intellivision. The Intellivision CPU ran at just under a megahertz. This was like 3.5 times that fast. Go figure. All they needed would have been, programmable on-screen graphics, and they would have been fine. The memory was 4 kilobytes of RAM, expandable to 20 kilobytes, and 8 kilobytes of ROM. Okay, most of their cartridges for the games were 4 kilobytes again. And it had a keyboard input. Now, believe it or not, I have 2 of these units. So we're going to start just by looking at the basic core unit itself. So let's take a look. Okay, this is it. This is one of the units here. This is the Mattel Aquarius, and here's a power light here that comes on when it's plugged in with this chump of a wall wart that's quite heavy, and this cabling is quite thick. Thick cabling that is hardwired into this. Okay, you have this chiclet keyboard, blue chiclet keyboard. Okay, and you're asking, Ken-chan, where the hell's the space bar? Where's the space bar? It's right here. It's not a space bar, it's a space button. They replaced the space bar with a space button, a little button that says space on it right there. Here's a reset button. And of course then you have your keys here, and they're all rubbery and chiclety. This thing is kind of heavy. It has some weight to it. Feels like parts of this might be metal that's painted the same color as the plastic. We go in the back here, and here's the RF module, which is what they had. Here's channel 3 and 4 selector. Okay. I know you're laughing. Stop laughing. This is the cassette drive interface here, and this is for a printer. And I do believe that the printers that they had for these were like register tape printers. They were like rip and read type printers. They printed on little spools, little rolls of thermal looking paper tape type stuff. I'm pretty sure I don't have one. That I don't have. This is a cartridge bay here, but it's really, actually, this is for the expansion port. This came with just a flat cover thing that fit over this that protected this. This one doesn't have one here. But this is the cartridge, this is the bay for the expansion port here. And here we have an on-off switch. I'm going to keep that turned off. But that's what it looks like. Let's take a look at the other one that I have over here with the with the expansion port in this slot here. Okay, and we move up here and we look at the this is the Mattel Aquarius. Let's take a look at the expansion slot there. This slot right here is for extended memory. As I said, you can pump it up to 20 kilobytes. This port right here is for the games. See here it says memory, and here it says program. You put the programs in here. And of course then you have these almost Intellivision looking controllers. This looks familiar, but this does not. If you remember from before, this looks like a phone pad with a clear and an enter button on it. Okay, that has a full boat 1 through 0. This only has 1 through 6. And again, it's these blue little chiclety type buttons. No buttons on the sides. None. Nothing. Nada. And that's what it looks like. It's this huge, hideous... This console, this device, puts me in mind of... what's his name? The little kid from Malcolm in the Middle. The youngest kid. The little boy. Dewey, I guess his name was. Yeah, well, anyway, that kid was so ugly that he was cute. And that's what this ends up being. This thing is such an abomination. A hideous looking ridiculous. I mean, this thing looks like an L. It's L-shaped. But this thing is so ridiculous that it's beautiful. You can't help but stare at it. The Art Deco-y, you know, that faux what the future promised us type thing. You know, this would have been what people thought computers were going to be, like in 1967 or something. You know, this almost looks like something out of a science fiction movie or something from the 60s. You know, about the device in the home that people use to communicate that replaces everything, or something like that. You know, it really has just this, oh my God, horrible yet adorable look to it. I think that's why I had to have two. But let's... I have limited number of games for this. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at those right now and see if they are also horrible or adorable or both. Now, right before we look at the games, of course, again, we're going to go ahead and look at the games. This is Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And look at the shape of the cartridge here, if you can see this. Look at how this is what the thing was shaped like. I'm serious. This is really what this was. Here's another one. And if you take these cartridges and you do this, watch this. See what it does? It fits in there just so nice. But now, there's no controller for this. Some of these have these overlay things. These overlay things, they look like this, and you can put them on the right. I'm serious. This is what they expect you to do. Like there's one right there. You have an overlay for the computer itself. Get boat, fish, PT, house, school, factory, fort, crop, HSP, rebel, whatever. That's an overlay for the game. I'm not sure that works like that. I'm pretty sure that you have to have the expansion module to plug these things in. But for some strange reason, this also fits right in this slot just perfectly, like it was made for it. And getting a little bit ridiculous here, we also have overlays for these things, the controllers as well. You can tell I'm really enthusiastic about this machine. I am, actually. It's just so incredible that someone would go so far out of their way to make something that's just so horrible. And yet, so adorable. Horrible, adorable. Remember, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Now let's look at some of the games. Alright, this expansion pack here, we're going to go ahead and put this in. Oh, and let me quick point out here also, these are not hardwired. These controllers, you can unplug them, which is nice. But we're going to take this chump of a thing, and we're going to push it down there, and we hope that this is going to... Okay, this is Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Let's take a look at this. Okay. Tells you there that I'm facing south. Oop, there's a door. Oop, I died. Okay. It gives like a pseudo 3D type feel. Can't go any further than that. Don't worry, I'm just figuring this out like you are. Oh, there's something there. Ooh, he hit me with something. Don't know how to attack him back. Anyway, you get the idea. You've seen games like this before. I don't know what I'm doing with this. I'd have to look it up. Maybe I can look in the manual or something, but this is just to give you an idea of what this looks like. Okay. That's Advanced Dungeons and Dragons for you there, buddy. Now, this game's called Utopia. This is like in the vein of, oh, those games like Sim City and things like that. It's one of those god games where you're, or politician games. Let's see if I can even get this started. Okay, what do you do here? Return? Term of office, we'll say 4 years. Return. Length of round, I don't know, 10. That's not good enough. 100. Ooh, look, it's my country. And look, there's something falling into it. And here's ships coming, and okay, so what's this? Guess this is something, maybe? Not exactly sure what I'm doing here either. You can tell I just got this recently in these games. I still have to figure out. But you see what's going on here, and you see the really crappy graphics. These are supposed to be boats up here. And I guess these are clouds, like a rain cloud going by. You know, the weather, you know, they take the weather into account. These numbers down below here, I guess, have to do with your economy and your finance or whatever. Fascinating game, right? Maybe someday I'll sit down and learn how to play this. Maybe I won't. Look, this looks like a satellite flying by here. This number's counting down to 16, 15, 14. So anyway, I have no idea what I'm doing with this, but you get the idea of the kind of graphics and the kind of spastic gameplay. There's nothing about this that's intuitive. There's nothing about this that, you know, short of picking up the manual, sitting there and reading through it. The chances of you figuring out what the hell to even do with this are very slim. But it's still fascinating that, again, someone went this far out of their way to make something this ridiculous. And here we go with another super confusing, ridiculous game. This is called Biorhythms. So let's go ahead and start this. Individual biorhythm. Okay, we'll go ahead and do individual biorhythm. Birth date. 8/25/68. Oh look, Y2K bug. It says start before birth date. Ha ha ha. So this is one of the computers. You see that, right? Start before birth date. Because I put 10/14/12 and up here it says 8/25/68, so that's the Y2K bug. This thing has it. Okay. I put in all my information, and it prints this graph. This thing is designed to print this out to paper also. So you can carry around something in your notebook that's equally confusing. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't even know what to say to this. I have no idea what the hell this is. If anybody can figure out what this is, by all means, I'd be just curious as hell to know what it is. But this is the world of the Mattel Electronics Aquarius computer game, home computer system. And now you're starting to see why this computer system was so unpopular. Nobody bought it. But today, as a collectible, it's quite a rare thing to get your hands on. They're actually kind of hard to get. that you don't just come across them. I managed to just come across one that didn't have an expansion port, but the other one I had to put a couple bucks into. It's not worth that much. Actually, I picked this up at Game Gallery in Easton, Pennsylvania. The place is quite a good little place. Got a good little shop there. The owner or whoever picks the games there has exquisite tasting games. And they have some pretty rare and hard to find systems. And I was more than happy to take this off their hands. I think I paid like $70 for this. But, you know, which is actually only about $90 less than what it originally cost back in the early 80s when it came out. So anyway, this is the kind of thing you get with this system. Something confusing that even I don't understand, and I'm not some, you know, fool that never saw this stuff before. I never saw anything like this before, though. I thought I'd played it all, but maybe not. Oh yeah, and here's the, never mind the games, here's the basic programming, and it's, what does it say there? It says, copyright 1982 by Microsoft. Okay. So... look at that! Wow! I still got it. Fascinating. So to sum it all up, this machine is something that's very difficult to find, first of all. Not very expensive when you do find it. You could probably pick one up with the expansion for under $100. The games are equally hard to find, if not more hard to find. And if you find them, to figure out how they work is something entirely else as well. And whether they're entertaining or not, as in the case of this biorhythms thing, whatever it is, whatever it's supposed to do, that remains to be seen as well. Hardcore collectors only, please. If you're just a casual collector, you're looking to pick up some old consoles for nostalgia's sake, you miss the Intellivision, you heard about the Aquarius back in the day, you were always curious, but your parents never bought you one, or you never bought one, or whatever. It's not something that's worth just getting just because you're curious, because you're going to be mondo disappointed. Someone like me, I'm mondo thrilled. I think you can't just collect the good games, the good systems, because if you did, you wouldn't have much of a collection. I take the bad with the good. I've said it before. It's ugly. It's so ugly that it's beautiful. It's ridiculous. It's less powerful than their home console. It takes up too much space with the expansion port. The controllers are horrible. The games are ridiculous. Hardcore collectors only. I love it. You'd probably hate it. But no matter how you slice it, it's the Mattel Aquarius home computer.